Hello and welcome to Positively United. Today, Sunday, the 15th of February 2026. And on today's programme, I just wanted to have a quick look about where we currently are with the race to become the new permanent head coach of Manchester United, because it's taken a pretty weird turn this week. And where we're left with it on today, on Sunday, is it seems to me with us being gaslit about one of the potential candidates. And I'll explain why in just a little bit. But I just thought I'd start off today with this fantastic ex-post that came out yesterday. This is Michael Carrick talking to Darren Fletcher. They've just watched Manchester United's under-18s team beat the Man City under-18s team 3-1. Fantastic performance. It's worth catching on MUTV if you've got a subscription. And there's Carrick, our current head coach, deep in conversation with Darren Fletcher, head coach of the under-18s. Can anybody give me a name of a candidate for the new permanent head coach at Manchester United who has a deeper understanding, affinity, and connection with Manchester United and everything it stands for than Michael Carrick? Well, the answer, of course, is no. None of the names which are being mentioned come anywhere close to Michael Carrick in understanding what this club means, not just now, not just in the modern era, but throughout its history. What you're looking at there with Carrick and Fletcher at an under-18s match, talking about what they've just seen on the pitch, is Manchester United DNA in action. And please don't pretend that you don't know what Manchester United DNA is. If you're a real fan, you'll know exactly what it is. And it's there for all to see. So, I've got my 3 tests for should Michael Carrick get the job permanently or not. It's, do we qualify for Europe? Don't care if it's Champions League or Europa League. Well, I do care. It'd be great if it's Champions League. But if it's Europa League, that's fine, because that's the standard that Ruben Amorim was being held to. So I don't see why it should be higher for Michael Carrick. If Michael Carrick qualifies for Europe, that's test number 1 done. Test number 2, that we do it playing the United way. Again, we all know what that means. Don't pretend you don't. We know what it means. I don't want Carrick's Man United qualifying for Europe by going 1-0 up in a match and then the first substitute comes on as a centre-back. We're 1-1 in a match and we're trying to win it. First substitute is a centre-back. We're 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go. What do? We bring on a centre-back. We've been there and we didn't like it. So we play the United way. And I've said this over and over again. If Carrick passes those 3 tests, and it's possible that it could happen sometime in April, give him the job. It's pointless anybody else having it. But the Anybody But Carrick Brigade have been building up this narrative that even if Carrick does all that, we should still go for a world-renowned, world-class, world-famous manager instead. Because why wouldn't you? And that's where we were at the beginning of the week. The people who want Anybody But Carrick as the next permanent head coach were really, really pushing. I think because they'd realised that we'd collectively all got to the point where, you know what, the very last thing we want is another hipster manager. No hipster managers, please. No Glasner, no De Zerbi, none of that sort of stuff, because we've had it in Ten Hag and we've had it in Ruben Amorim. No more. So they knew there was no appetite for that. So what they had left was big name manager. And there is an attraction to a big name manager. Don't get me wrong. My personal big time manager favourite is Pochettino. Now, I understand there are lots of people out there who don't think he is a big manager candidate. I think he is. But the names that are being mostly mentioned were Tuchel, Ancelotti, and what a dreadful week it was for the Anybody But Carricks, because, well, they started to fall like pins in a 10-pin bowling alley. Start of the week, it was announced that Tuchel would be signing an extension to his England contract to take him through to 2028. I have to say, as an England fan, I'm delighted. I think he's doing a really good job. But most importantly for him, I think he's enjoying his best life. He's a manager. He's on a super salary. I think he's the highest paid international football manager in the world. He doesn't have to work all the time because he's an international manager. It's not a full-time job, however much they try and pretend that it is. He's having a great life. Good for him. Why the hell would he give it up? If he was a lifelong United fan, I could imagine it. But in his position, why would he do it? And he's not going to. He's sticking with England until 2028, so he's out. And then there was the news of Carlo Ancelotti, who was the second on their list, the Anybody But Carricks. Now, it's not official yet, but it's pretty much a done deal that he's going to be signing a contract extension with Brazil to take him through to 2030, the next World Cup. So he's out. I thought it was always fanciful that Ancelotti would end up at United. He's rumoured in the past to have said it's a job he's simply not interested in. I think it's too difficult for him. Which kind of like left everybody in the Anybody But Carrick fan club with Nagelsmann. And over the last 2 days, well, sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm recording this on Sunday, Nagelsmann has become the name that's being mentioned most in this category of world-class, world-famous leader. So he's currently, of course, managing Germany and will be managing Germany through into the World Cup. Rumour has spread over the last 2 days that United are negotiating with him. Well, they'd be foolish if they weren't. If they're serious about him, if they want an alternative to Carrick, they should talk to him. And they should try and talk to Enrique. And if they want to go down a level, then yeah, they've got to talk to De Zerbi and Glasner as well. I'd be surprised if they weren't having these talks, but the rumours about Nagelsmann have really uplifted over the last couple of days. And you can tell why. It's because Tuchel and Ancelotti are now out of the picture. But you know what? Whereas Tuchel and Ancelotti kind of made sense because they are undoubtedly elite managers, Nagelsmann's on far, far weaker ground. Far weaker ground. Let's have a look at his track record, shall we? February 2016 to June 2019, head coach of Hoffenheim. Turned them into consistent European contenders. July 2019 to June 2021, head coach of Leipzig. Went to a Champions League semi-final. And then we get to Bayern Munich, July 21 to March 23. So what happened to him at Bayern? Well, he got sacked, of course. He didn't voluntarily leave to go and manage Germany. He got sacked from Bayern. And I've gone back and had a look at some of the quotes from the club at the time as to why they'd made that decision. They felt the team had become less successful and less attractive under his management. That there were big fluctuations in performance. That their season goals were under threat. They felt they'd gone backwards in the league and hadn't seen enough player development. And that they acted by sacking him because we were at a pivotal point in the season, in the Bundesliga run-up, and they had major cup ties coming up. So basically got sacked because of results, performance, and board confidence. Does that remind you of somebody? Haven't we just come out of that with Ruben Amorim? I appreciate he was far less successful, but still, it just feels, it's got that Amorim feel to it, doesn't it? So, whereas Tuchel and Ancelotti, and of course Enrique if he was available, but I just don't think Enrique is available, kind of made sense because they're definitely successful elite managers. I don't know if Nagelsmann isn't a successful elite manager. It's definitely not in their league. So what we've seen today is, I think, one of the most outrageous examples of gaslighting in this current United story that I've seen. And it was a story that's gone around on social media today. And it's been mentioned, I think, in 2 YouTube channels. Remember I just showed you a few moments ago Michael Carrick watching the under-18s. And we know that Carrick is embedded in United culture. Michael Carrick gets it. He's a Man United man through and through. So I suppose in order to try and make it Nagelsmann a bit more palatable, we seem to be in the process of being gaslit into thinking that he's a lifelong Man United fan. And this all seems to be stemmed from the fact that he was interviewed by RB Leipzig came to Old Trafford in 2020, and he was interviewed at the time, and I think this was interviewed by UEFA, and he mentioned that he'd watched Manchester United a lot when he was a kid. I can well believe it. English football's very popular in Germany, just like it's very popular in Italy and Spain and France and Portugal. And remember, Manchester United at this time would have been the most successful of all English clubs too. So, yeah, it's absolutely guaranteed that Nagelsmann, a young lad interested in football in Germany, would have watched a lot of Manchester United. But he's not a United fan. Again, an interview by UEFA, he was explicitly asked what club did he support when he was growing up, and he said Bayern Munich. He said his older brother got him into Bayern at an early age, and all of his early childhood memories are of watching Bayern Munich. You know, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an insight into my own football watching background. When I was a kid, I used to watch loads of Liverpool games and City games and Everton games. Do you know what? I even watched loads of Bolton Wanderers games, Preston games, and Blackpool games. Yeah. You know why? Because I lived in a part of the world what was covered by Granada Television, the northwest of England, where they showed nothing but games from the northwest of England. Football coverage used to be regionally based in England, and I used to watch football from the northwest of England. So I watched loads of Liverpool games and Everton games and City games and Blackpool games and Bolton games and Preston games and all other clubs from the northwest of England. I think I might even have watched a couple of Crewe games. Didn't turn me into a Preston fan or a Blackpool fan or a City fan or a Liverpool fan or an Everton fan. I was always a Manchester United fan. That's not the way being a fan works. We're being well and truly proper gaslit on this story, and it's ludicrous, and it shows you the absolute lengths that anybody but Carricks will go to try and prove that the candidates, the deadbeat candidates at this, it's probably unfair to call Nagelsmann a deadbeat candidate. He's a very good manager. But please don't try and pretend he's a Man United fan. If you don't want Carrick to be manager, just say it's for the reasons that you really feel that you know. I use some of the language that some of the YouTubers use. You know, you describe him as what? A supply teacher manager. We all know where that's come from, don't we? Yeah. You just don't want the less fashionable choice to be the Manchester United manager. You want the hipster choice to be the Manchester United manager. Fair enough. Just say it. Just come out with it. But don't make up stories about Nagelsmann's past. They treat us like children. No. This is the man who's got the Man United background. Don't pretend anybody else does. This is the man with the solid Man United background. You know, he might not end up being the permanent head coach at Manchester United. As I say, I think he's got at least 3 tests to pass before he does. But if come the end of April, he's qualified for Europe. He's done it in the Man United way. He can keep his coaching staff together. I keep saying this, Michael Carrick will be the best qualified man on this planet to be appointed the next permanent head coach of Manchester United. Not Julian Nagelsmann. Okay, that's all I wanted to say on this particular video. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. It really, really helps me getting this channel out to more viewers. It helps the algorithm on YouTube show this to more viewers. Got modest growth on subscriptions, but I really need to pick it up if I want to get the take this channel takes out to more viewers. If you like what I do on this channel and you think there's another United fan who might like watching it, please let them know about this channel and try and get them to subscribe. In the description, I've got a link to the X channel that I've got. Please subscribe to that too. I've got a coffee account. If you want to make some sort of modest donation to the channel, please do so. I'm particularly at the moment trying to work out how I can get better images to use on the channel and up the graphic quality of the channel quite a lot, because I appreciate it's way behind the other United YouTube channels out there. And I do want to sort of like keep, in with the pack when it comes to the overall visual quality of the channel. But yeah, that's it for now. Until we see each other again, always remember to be positively united. And do keep an eye out for gaslighting.